Welcome in, everyone. I'm Kathy Mock, and on behalf of the Board of Education and the Falcon Media team, we are so very excited to continue our series on our amazing Falcon alumni. And today we have with us
Marla Morton.
And what year did you graduate?
I graduated in 1990.
Okay. So while you were at Fitch, what were some of the extracurricular activities that you participated in?
My main activity was I was in band, so I was in marching and symphonic band. That was probably my biggest passion. Most of my friend group, I just loved band. I did speech team my first 2 years, and I was in Key Club. I was in, I guess that's it.
Okay. So I always like to ask this question: was there a person or an event or maybe even an experience that impacted your career path?
Yeah, there was a few. My dad was a chemical engineer, so I always loved the chemistry when I had chemistry, but a lot of that had to do also with Ms. Zeisler, who was my chemistry teacher, and I had some other amazing teachers, some math teachers that were phenomenal. I had some English teachers that were phenomenal, but I thought I wanted to go into engineering because of my dad, and I got into college and decided engineering probably wasn't for me, and that I wanted to be a teacher. So I decided, actually, I majored in math education, which no one really probably knows. So I graduated with math education and thought, you know what, I really miss the chemistry. I had been taking chemistry all along anyway because I enjoyed it, and I went back then and added that on.
And now you are teaching?
Now I'm teaching chemistry. This is my 29th year, 25th in Austintown.
Okay, that's amazing. So in addition to your teaching responsibilities, I know that you do something else that is a pretty big deal here at Fitch. It's coming up pretty soon. You want to talk about that?
Yes, this is my third year of being in charge of National Honor Society, which everyone knows as NHS, and our induction ceremony is coming up towards the end of the month. So we're in the process of doing that, but NHS is an organization that focuses on the pillars of scholarship, service, leadership, and character. So in order for them to get in, they have to have a high enough GPA, a cumulative GPA of 3.4, and then they have to have done service. They have to go through an application process. We want to see continuous leadership, so they have to be involved in like school and community activities, as well as being a leader in the classroom. They have to be a positive, role model for their classmates and things like that. Yeah. So, they go through, they apply, and the teachers vote. This all happens their junior year. So their junior or senior year, they can get inducted in, and then the kids who get inducted in as juniors are members through their senior year, where they get called on to do a multitude of activities, a bunch of service activities. We've had kids help at a lot of things for intermediate school, for the elementary school. They do a lot of tutoring. They do peer tutoring here. They get called to do tutoring, for some of the younger kids. They get called to help at concession stands. They can help at different camps. So many different activities. It's great. I mean, they get such a good experience from that. Yeah.
So a lot of the things that they do service-oriented are right here within the school itself. Yes. So do they do any other community service projects outside of the school?
Well, the kids can always find things, and I'm always getting calls. For example, we have the Dairy Queen Cone Day is coming up in a couple weeks, and they do fundraising for Akron Children's Hospital, so they always call on me. But there's a whole bunch of different people. I just got a request from... There's a nursing home that wanted volunteers on a Saturday that I'm just getting ready to post. They've helped out at Leonard Kurtz School. So, there's all kinds of people in the community and other surrounding communities that will call on NHS kids, and, then I post it and they sign up if they're available. The problem is some of our kids are so busy, sometimes it's really hard.
Yeah. That's great. I think it's so very important to be service-oriented, to do something bigger than yourself.
Right. You figure by the time they graduate, they will have done more than 40 hours of service, minimum. Most of them do well more than that. They have to have 20 hours to even apply, and then they have to do 20 hours to keep their membership active.
Well, you've got a lot to do just with teaching and then taking on NHS, which is really noble. Just noble.
Well, I appreciate
and what
that.
a wonderful ceremony it is.
It is a beautiful ceremony.
It is. It's very inspiring too. Very inspiring.
Yeah, all the new inductees get recognized there, so we get to highlight, what they've done, and it's definitely a brag for those kids. They get to brag about all the hard work that they've done.
For sure. So what do you like to do outside of work?
Oh, well, when I have time, I have two boys. I'm married and have two boys. We live in Austintown. So now that my boys are a little bit older, I'm trying to find, things to do again. But for so many years, my kids played soccer all the way. They graduated from Fitch, but they played soccer all the way from when they were little, all the way through high school. So that was a lot of my time. Now that they're both semi-recent graduates, I'm trying to enjoy, just spending time with my husband again and, reading and playing, hanging out with my friends a little bit here and there. I've got a dog that I like to take for walks and things like that.
Yeah.
So things that I really, some of those things I just didn't have as much time for before, I'm starting to be able to do again.
Good. Do you want to talk a little bit more about your family right now, too? I know you mentioned you have 2 boys.
I
I'm
do.
sure you're very proud of.
I have 2 boys. My oldest is a graduate from YSU, and he majored in accounting, so he's now working full-time. My youngest is working full-time, trying to get into an apprenticeship program. So hopefully that'll work out. And they're both, like I said, they're both active kids. They're great kids.
Great.
I'm
And
lucky.
I love you said Austintown Fitch
Yep.
graduates. So
Both, yep.
Through and through. All right, so I like to ask this too. What advice would you give to the community if they wanted to get involved? And even some of our young folks too. What advice? This is such a great community.
Yes, they need to definitely get involved in activities. I feel like sometimes at a big school, if you're not involved in things, you sometimes get lost in the school. So I always tell them, find something. There's so many activities here that there's a niche for everyone. If you don't play sports, look into things like our drama club, our choir, our music program. We have, RDE, we have Dungeon and Dragon Club. We have so many clubs that there should be something for everyone to get involved in. And they really need that, especially if they do want that NHS piece. They really need to have some activities, but there is definitely something for everyone. And if they, they could go online. We have that lookbook online. They could ask their guidance counselors. Any of their teachers could advise them. So they really, we take advantage of it. That's where they're going to make the best friends.
I agree.
Best memories.
And what about even adults too? Can you give advice to them who are just out in the community? I always drive through and tell people, you should just drive through our campus. There is always something going on.
There is.
Is there anything that you would recommend adults living in the community?
Even if you just go onto our Facebook pages, we're always advertising, like our sports teams, our drama, our plays coming up. There's always things that the community members can come to. But even outside of any of that, and we have a great senior center, and I hear people talk about that. Austintown's a great community. I've lived here all my life.
Yeah, I agree. I've not lived here all my life, but chose to live here, and it is an amazing community. People rally around each other whenever there's a need. It's just an awesome place to live, for sure. Well, I know this is a Friday. It's been a busy day for you, and you have a busy time coming up. And I just want to thank you so much, Marla, for giving of your time, not only what you do in the classroom, but outside of the classroom, too. So I wish you continued success. And we are going to wrap up right now. Okay. So again, this is Kathy Mock, and on behalf of the Board of Education and the Falcon Media team, until the next time, and we always like to close out with, Go Falcons!